Okay, guys. Hello, everybody. We're very excited today about this roundtable. It's a new proposal from Poultry School. I think this is going to be a unique presentation. We have the board of PEC. They are going to be explaining what is PEC about, and I think that we need to have more open spaces to have the opportunity to discuss, bring new ideas, having new connections, and be accessible uh, to many other people that is need education. So we have today with us Leonie Jacob from Virginia Tech, Tauna Weiner for the University of Arkansas, Marisa Erasmus from Purdue, and Prafulia Regmi. So good morning, everybody. How are you? How are you guys? Everything is okay?
Good morning.
Doing
Good
well,
morning,
thank
guys.
you.
So hello, guys. So I will let you introduce yourself very quickly. Leonie, we will start from you. You have
All right.
about 1 minute to introduce yourself.
Okay. So I'm Leonie Jacobs. I am an associate professor at Virginia Tech, focusing my research and extension work on mostly poultry welfare. Some of my recent work has focused on trying to quantify affective states. So how do mostly chickens, how do they feel, and how can we measure and quantify these sort of emotions in chickens? I'm originally from the Netherlands, and I've been with Virginia Tech for over 7 years now, 7.5 years.
Right.
So been a while, but it's been good.
Okay, thank you. Shauna.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Shauna Weimer. I am an assistant professor in the Department of Poultry Science and the director of the Center for Food Animal Wellbeing at the University of Arkansas. I've been here for 3 years. Previously, I was an extension specialist at the University of Maryland, but I actually did grad school here and I came back to my alma mater, so it was like coming back home. And my research and extension program is focused on poultry welfare, like all of us, primarily with broilers. And I really focus on looking at the impact of genetics and environment on the stress response and behavior of poultry. So some of the projects I've worked on is looking at lighting, both intensity and wavelength, and different behaviors in response to heat stress or other types of environmental factors. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Shauna. Marisa, your turn.
Awesome. Thank you. Good morning. And thanks so much for having us today. I'm an associate professor at Purdue University. So I grew up in South Africa, then immigrated to Canada, then moved to Michigan for my PhD, where Prafula and I spent some time together as grad students. And I've been at Purdue since 2015, so going on 10 years now, which is kind of crazy to think about. So here at Purdue, my focus is on poultry behavior and welfare. So I also work across species and collaborate with people working on pigs, dairy cattle, and we did one sheep project as well. But the main area that I work in is anything with feathers, really. So chickens, turkeys, we've done some duck work as well, trying to understand how animals are doing in their environment. So can we analyze their behavior and get some indicators of what kind of signals they give us that tell us that things are going well or things are going not so well. Some of the recent projects we've been working on are looking at parasites, so specifically the northern fowl mite and how that influences birds and why some birds are really good at fighting them off and others are not so good. And then I've also been working with Prafula on another project with turkeys, trying to figure out how we can change their environment by providing enrichments to try to get them to have better leg strength and better walking ability. So all of this just to say that we're trying to generate some information that can be of benefit to the industry, hopefully help provide some guidance, but there's still, a lot of work to be done.
Yeah, thank you. Wow, you were raised in South Africa. I didn't know that. Very nice. Prafula, how are you?
Hi, everyone. I'm Prafula Regmi. I'm an assistant professor at the Department of Poultry Science at the University of Georgia. I'm going on my 5th year now. As everybody mentioned, I also work primarily with poultry, both on applied and basic side of it. On the applied side, We're looking at how laying hens use cage-free environment and skeletal issues that they have. And on more basic side, we're looking at lameness and growth rate related issues in broilers and turkeys, and also trying to understand how behavior is changed by physiological changes and how physiology is affected by behavior. So looking a little bit more around that gut-brain axis as well.
Okay, thank you, guys. Thank you very much for your time, and I'm very impressed for your background. And maybe later, I would like to know how you guys meet each other. But it's really interesting how you guys get together. Just a little background. I met Leonie back in September last year in an IPWA summit, and I was really impressed about her approach and this animal welfare concept. And then she shared me about PEC. So we would like to start to our audience that you guys can explain what is PEC. Where's the vision of PEC? Maybe Leonie can start explaining to the audience what is PEC and what's the vision.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. First of all, thank you for having us, talking to us. It's a very good opportunity for us to share what PEC is and trying to sort of make clear what our mission is. So this is a great opportunity. So thank you for that. We really try to advance poultry welfare in the industry through research, education, and outreach. So trying to sort of make that connection between science and practice. So what we try to do is convey information that is science-based to provide information for decision-making around poultry welfare. And when I say industry, this is not just large-scale commercial industry. We try to be sort of approachable for any person that holds poultry. So it could just be a small backyard flock of 3 chickens up to millions in the large-scale commercial industry. So we try to share information that comes from this research and make it accessible to anybody, anywhere.
That's really good. You were saying right now that really is very important that I have been seeing your material. We have been doing some collaboration with PEC. That your target or your audience is not just big commercial companies. You go to also middle and maybe, can we say backyard or a lower scale production? So where this idea came from? Maybe Shauna can explain a little bit. What is your idea in this broad target, the big commercial and the not so much because at the end of the day it's technical and management and big scale of animals.
Yeah, well, poultry, and of course there's different breeds and species, but how they're cared for, whether they're in a backyard or in a commercial situation, they still have the same basic needs. And that's really, I think, what we try to focus on is what are the topics. And by the way, we have over 60 volumes now. We've been publishing our Poultry Press articles since 2020, and we have 60 volumes. We also host online webinars and symposia. We have one coming up on the 20th, and we just try to, everything is free. We haven't charged for anything so far, and really that can reach anyone, whether they're in a different country or commercial. So we really try to reach a broad audience just with education about poultry welfare. They see the world differently and experience the world differently than we do. So we're just trying to get that message out there and how to care for them.
So to be clear, so maybe the right question, maybe Prafula, you want to explain this. What really is offering PEC right now to the industry? If you can point the 3 main, let's say, products, if you want to put it in that way, that the audience or the industry can benefit for PEC, what will be these value offerings that PEC can offer to the industry right now?
So at this point, our resources has been mostly related to education. So like Sana said, we've been releasing monthly press article, not necessarily press article, but like a general article about different issues related to poultry welfare. So with 5 years of that, we have 60 volumes of those articles. So these are short communication articles on a specific topic, and we give a more generalized view of how you can manage different aspects of welfare with poultry. We have also conducted at least 2 webinars in a year for the last 2 or 3 years. And again, for those, we have brought people with specific expertise in the topic that are relevant to the commercial environment. So we've talked about laying hen and their genetics, broiler breeder management. We've talked about other aspects of welfare as well. So we have engaged with backyard and small scale producers who have reached out to us with different management or welfare related questions that they have. And that has been either communicated through our email or when they meet us in person at different workshops and symposiums and conferences like IPPE. And then we're also working towards developing a training course related to poultry welfare.
Wow.
So basic modules on what is, how we can manage it, and then we'll go towards specific topics as needed or as the people ask for it.
So I understand, and I'm really curious about this, and the thing is, I believe that you guys have a passion and you get together with a common passion, right? And maybe Marisa, I would like to get your feedback, because when you guys start doing this PEC, you also find a pain and necessity in the industry that we need to raise more awareness in animal welfare. That's part of your thinking, that you want to provide some material, some engagement to get more people together in the animal welfare awareness. And maybe I would like from hear from you is how, if we focus in the USA, how that awareness is going. Do you think is moving in the right direction? We need to do something different. What you thinking about this?
Yeah, thank you. So there are a lot of people who have been getting more and more interested in animal welfare, trying to understand where their food comes from. So if we talk about just poultry, they're the most. When we talk about farm animals, poultry are the highest in number, right? So people are eating eggs, they're eating chicken meat, and consumption is projected to continue growing over the next few years. So we're going to see egg and poultry consumption continue increasing. And with that, you know, people want to know more about their food. And so there's a lot more certification programs, food labeling programs, and things like that. And people don't necessarily really have a good understanding of how all of that works together.
Mm-hmm.
And so our passion really, so a lot of us mentioned that we have extension as part of our jobs. So for me, extension is the main part of my job as well. So that's outreach. So my passion is really to try and engage people around the animals that I am interested in, right? So poultry. So we really, all of us see a need, especially when the COVID-19 pandemic hit and accessibility to information became an issue in some cases. And so that kind of really pushed us to start providing things online free and make it accessible so that everybody can be on the same page when it comes to the basics, as Shauna mentioned. Because for me specifically, I've seen a lot that there's kind of conflict, right, amongst different groups of people in terms of what they think animal welfare is. And these conflicts create problems even on farms, right? So people who don't maybe understand why things are done a certain way are making certain demands. It's not always easy to implement those demands on the farm. So for me, really, the idea is, can we step back and maybe take an approach where we're kind of looking at it from the animal's perspective, trying to get back to the basics, understand what do we mean by animal welfare? What does it mean for the animals? And then approach it from common ground. And so to be able to approach it from the common ground, we all kind of need to be on the same page and have a basic understanding of what we're talking about in the first place. and then we can move on from there. So I think for most of us or all of us, our passion is really to try and connect people and get people to understand that we're all working toward the same goals. And there's a lot of information out there, but it's not always easy to tell the good information from the bad information. Sometimes it's not easy to get access to information. So those are some of the main things that are driving us and making us passionate about just getting the information out there.
Prafula, Shauna, and Leonie, if you want to add something, just go. And this is part of the open table. But when I met Leonie back in September, I don't know if you were, Leonie, the first day, the field trip to UGA, where Paco Fernandez from Simpro did a presentation. I don't know if you were that day. So this guy, that, by the way, we're going to have a webinar in 2 days, on Thursday. Don't miss it. She opened his presentation showing a TikTok video from a YouTuber, maybe a guy in his 20s, showing a pale breast and a dark breast that he got from the supermarket. And he was saying this dark breast is contaminated. They have bacteria, it's poison, is blah, blah, blah. And then this is the good breast, a very white, pale chicken breast. And then he's saying, oh, the poultry industry is poisonous, is not doing the good job, blah, blah, blah. And then Paco, he's an expert in a slaughterhouse and post-mortem, right? He say, this is a bruise. This is because manipulation or the leg was broken, some was broken, so it's not contamination. But Paco point is, he's saying that day, and I still keep that in mind, and this is part why we're here right now. He say, we're gonna let the fake news have 4 million views, and we have the right information, we're gonna keep quiet, or we're gonna start doing things to spread the news, the good work and the good practice and the good thing that the industry is doing. So you actually know more about the food, but we as industry, are we doing a good job, or we're passionately increasing, looking for options to share information? Do you think we're doing a good job, like industry, communicating the good things that we're doing? Anyone can answer.
Going to add to when you asked to add on to what Marissa said, but I will touch on that. So yes, promoting transparency is something that we are huge on. And unlike meat quality or nutrition or all of the other sort of realms of poultry, animal welfare will always have an ethical component to it, you know, and it's the viral videos and things are what pulls at people's heartstrings. And so something that I love about PEC is that we work together and sort of in unity, we're getting the message out there. And it will take a group, you know, it can't just be one person. So we kind of are, that's why we formed, to combine our forces to really inform people about poultry welfare, because, you know, people pay to be the top of Google when you search things. And
Exactly.
so we're really trying to debunk a lot of the myths out there, as you were alluding to. And again, with people involved with more force, we can get our message out there more. And just like being here today, thank you for having us. I'll pass the torch.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone has something to say, Prafula.
Yeah, I think industry as a whole is doing much better in terms of managing animals. Like most of the industry have their own in-house guidelines that they adhere to. They also are associated with some of the third-party audit guidelines. So I'm just talking primarily about the welfare scenario, but we still see major industry groups slightly reticent about sharing what they are doing good work in terms of welfare as well. And that's probably more for financial, legal reasons as well. So so yeah, so they are doing good things. So for example, turkey producers, layer producers, broiler producers, they're all doing good things related to whatever welfare criteria that they're following, be it key welfare indicators that have come out from different platforms, or taking care of the birds, training their people. But what I feel is the good things are not highlighted or are not brought to the forefront. And we still, as an industry, feel a little bit guarded about what we're doing with animals. But yeah, on the other side, so like a general public, or like you mentioned, YouTube influencer or whoever, then they just need one piece of bad information to put out there, which can make the whole industry look bad. So yeah, so that's where we feel like if we put science-based information out there, hopefully we can help address some of those misconceptions and issues related to animal welfare.
Yeah, completely agree, Profula. I think that's a really good point. I have a question that was not in the first meeting, but I just want to pull this. What's your dream for PEC in 5 years? Do you have any expectation? How do you want to see PEC in 5 years? Anyone can share.
Sure. I love that question. Well, we really want to grow. So one part of what we're trying to do is get some members in to help contribute to setting PEC sort of in the vision of people. So making sure that people in the industry know that we exist, and whoever is interested in animal welfare know that we exist, and especially poultry welfare. So we like to have other members joining us so that they can contribute, for instance, to our articles, maybe articles that are especially in their expertise that isn't currently part of PEC, and we do have other members at other universities. We'd like to, broaden our reach. So can we connect with the industry more? Can we connect with these sort of more backyard, small scale producers more? Have them reach out to us. We're always open to talk to people from the industry or anyone interested in animal welfare to come reach out to us. So we try to be very accessible and have them talk to us for instance, topics that they're interested in for symposia or our articles, or just meetings about animal welfare, poultry welfare. So we're trying to really connect more with the people that are out there, the stakeholders, become a more well-known collaborative, have more people join us to sort of spread the word.
I'll just add quickly to what Leonie's saying. I think it's all about creating kind of a network and connecting people from different countries. So through our symposia, we've seen that we're reaching people from, 20 or more different countries. And that's really, really exciting to us because getting back to kind of our goal of getting back to the basics, getting science-based information out, I think the more connections that we can make with people from all over and share everybody's expertise, that will really help poultry care, management, welfare as a whole progress. So as Leonie mentioned, just growing, making connections, all of those different things. We're hoping to continue doing that.
That's the C in collaborative. The C in PEC is collaborative. We're all about collaboration and getting the message out there and working with folks.
Yeah, I think that human connections is one of the great values. Like I met Leonie almost 6 months ago, and the contribution is keep growing, new ideas, new connections. How do you guys choose? You say that you have more than 60 something newsletters or works. How do you choose what you're gonna be working in the next quarter, for example? It's any one idea, or somebody say, hey guys, we need to explore to study this. How is the idea flowing in your committee?
So, well, I think I can talk about this a little bit. So I think we started out, when we started out in 2020, we initially started out by pretty much defining animal welfare or providing some conceptual basics of animal welfare. Then we talked about primarily issues around that COVID with managing birds. And then we sort of looked at our expertise and started putting together information related to the research work that we were doing. And now eventually it has evolved into a little bit of mix of both. So we have new members, Dr. Allison Pullen from NC State, Dr. Bethany Baker from Auburn. We also have Dr. Richard Blatchford from UC Davis. So they have added their expertise into those press articles as well. But anytime somebody, so when we do the webinar, we also ask them about what kind of information that they would like to see on our webpage. When we meet people or stakeholders at meetings, we get feedback from them, and then some of the news, some of the poultry press articles have been also directed towards what people want to know about specific topics in the last couple of years at least.
And maybe a question for our audience and maybe the people that will be hearing this. How do you do the funding of these projects? When do you do research? Is companies, is university funding? Who provides the material, the time to do this research? So maybe because some companies may be hearing this and maybe they would like to sponsor you guys. That's part of the connections.
Yeah, so it has been different sources, right? So I think all of us have had some success with funding from the industry. So either some company will reach out to us directly, or sometimes we have also received fundings from US Poultry and Egg, which is an industry group, also Egg Industry Center in Iowa. But then we also have relied on the federal funding sources such as USDA's National Institute for Food and Agriculture. There are various sources. Sometimes we also get some internal grants from the university that we are at, especially to do some small scale research work or to generate some preliminary information about a major research question that we're eventually going to ask. So it has been from various sources.
Okay, I would like to throw this question, and this is part of the open conversation that I know that we discussed a little bit of the questions that we were talking about this, but I would like to everybody answer this. What make you proud about PEC today? What make you proud? So, Shoana, starting with you.
Well, I think I alluded to that earlier. So as the director of the Center for Food Animal Wellbeing, there's a lot of synergies between PEC and the center. So really boosting the center here alongside PEC has been great. But I am proud of that we all get along, as academics, people can have quirky personalities. And as you mentioned earlier, we're a very diverse international group with different cultural perspectives. And I think that really is a good driving force of the products that we've had. We come from very different backgrounds with different cultures that view animals differently. But now we're all academics, and we bring unique elements to everything that we do. So I am most proud of us, the people in PEC, but also what the messages that we've gotten out there. These days I go to a conference or an event, and people know us, through PEC, and that's been really enjoyable and satisfying.
Leonie, what makes you proud about PEC?
Well, of course, echoing what Shauna said, just how we got this collaborative to work among the four of us, but then also our members that joined us a little later when we were sort of comfortable with what PEC was and was going to be. So it's been just really enjoyable working with all these people. Everybody is poultry welfare expert, but there's so much more like sort of fine tuning or narrowing of specific expertises, as it's really been a very nice cohesion of different topics that we are all, and knowledge we're all sort of able to share. And also echo a little bit what Marissa was saying is are part of our reach. So especially with the symposia that are online, we reach such a broad audience all across the world. And it's just amazing to see that we can contribute in that way. And people are very positive about our symposia and always sort of ask for more topics. And it's just been really enjoyable to see that what we want to do is like get that message out there, is really reaching people, and they have an interest, they return, they read the articles, they come back to other symposia. So that's just been really nice.
Ula, something else? What make you proud about PEC?
I'm also just adding to things. I'm also proud about the information that we have put out there. I think we've been consistent in what we have done so far. Leonie mentioned about the symposia, but a couple of years ago, we also put together a symposia at the Poultry Science Association's annual meeting about environmental enrichment. And during that symposia, we also had a representative from the industry, Mike Levengood, and then hearing his perspective and bringing together academicians was actually a good moment. I think I'm proud of that as well.
Marisa, something else?
So I think at the end of the day, having information and something that we can stand behind, that we know we're doing the best we can, and all of us are committed to sharing our knowledge and sharing our expertise. And so for me, that's something that I really value with this group, is that each and every one of us is hoping to make it better, to make things better for everyone and for poultry, right? I know that sounds kind of far reaching, but I think ultimately that's something that motivates all of us. And I think each of us too holds the others accountable, right? So there's that accountability.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So if somebody says something that's
very nice.
not quite what we agree with, the others will kind of help out. And so we're all open to that. And just like we are open to getting information and continue learning, we're all motivated by our desire to continue learning and help others do the same. So these are some of the things that I really appreciate being part of this group.
Yeah, I really want to point what Shauna said and what you just said. And for example, one of the things that made me proud about Poultry School is meeting you guys. Is meeting new people with different backgrounds, with different ideas, and we have different personalities, but being together in one point and going in the same direction is very nice. It's, I don't know, it's like something that you're adding value, not just to the industry, but for society. And seeing you all four, you guys, besides providing education, providing a platform, providing value, I think that as human beings, being in this organization make us better. Like human beings, be tolerance, resilience, vulnerability, the capability to open dialogue. Sometimes we lack of open our voice and raising an idea. Say, oh no, I'm not gonna say this because maybe it's crazy. Say it, open it. Maybe it's not crazy. Maybe that's the solution. So that these type of, let's say, organizations provide these opportunities. So we have been talking 35 minutes about pets. We have two more subjects that I would like. You were saying, Marisa, that you love learning. So one of the main topics of Poultry School is learning. Are we doing as industry a good job in learning and providing education programs? What do you think? Because we were just talking before we started this conversation, what we have out there, seminars, courses online after COVID, that door was open, so many courses online, but how do you see the education tool right now in the industry? Anyone can start. Marisa.
I guess since I went last, I'll go first.
Okay.
But yeah, I think individual companies and organizations, depending on their size, have access to information and trainings. A lot of companies provide their own in-house trainings. So there's the trainings that they provide to their employees, and then there's information that's shared more broadly beyond that, right? And so, as I mentioned earlier, I think one of the challenges is just that there's so much information out there. And with the science growing so fast all the time, new information is generated every single day. So I've heard, I've heard from some industry people that one of the challenges is just trying to stay abreast of that. Right. So trying to get a handle on what is pertinent information, what can be applied now, what cannot be applied now, what do we need more information on. So I think as a general rule, the industry does a good job of educating its own people, employees, and so on in-house in terms of what they need, what works within their systems. But when it comes to kind of outward facing, maybe one of the challenges is just trying to think about, well, whose responsibility is that to provide that education to others who maybe don't have those direct connections with the industry. So yeah, I mean, it's a huge topic, right? And with your poultry school, I love all the webinars that you have on your website. I think it's so nice to bring in some of those experts who are on top of the latest information and know how to distill that down to its most essential components so that people can take that and implement it. So yeah, I don't know what everybody else thinks on that, but that's my 2 cents.
Who else in education? Leonie?
Yeah, I think Marissa grasped it pretty well, where it's like there is a lot of in-house going on, especially at the larger scale companies, right? And maybe that grew out of necessity. Like there is so much information, you do have to like boil it down into something that is practical. So these companies are doing a great job sort of doing that. We as PEC hope to sort of contribute to that by helping with some of that translation from science to practice. So for instance, our articles, our Poultry Press articles might be helpful in providing some of that up-to-date information about what we learn about poultry welfare. Then the other education is for students, right? So that we do that as university professors, not per se as PEC board members, but all of us teach in animal welfare and try to like start at the student level to grasp these concepts, because even within our field, it's so broad and there's disagreement about what is important for animal welfare, what is animal welfare, how do you measure animal welfare? So it's a lot to sort of understand. So trying to these sort of multi-pronged approaches by trying to reach college students, trying to reach these industry people, either that just started through training or symposia, people that are more veteran in the field that may want to continue learning, and sort of anyone in between. Like I'm not sure about the others, but I try to also engage with like kids about animal welfare. At least once a year, try to sort of have some reach to children and understanding of what is animal welfare. And yeah, it really takes a village, perhaps, to try and instill these principles to and all different stages of life, and just trying to like make sure that people understand, and with understanding you can improve.
Well, that was a good one. Yeah, the kids. Maybe we need to start doing kids books, like for 1 year, 2 years about animal welfare, the chicken, the cow, the pig, and all these metrics. Okay.
It's a great idea.
So Shauna, what's your input about education?
You can get some royalties on the children's books because I think that's a great idea. But I really, agree with what Leonie and Marissa said. But also, I think we all agree that we are training the next generation of animal welfare professionals. So when you ask, where do we see PEC in 5 years? I see working with companies that my former students work at now. So I know that several of my students have told me that when they mention having knowledge in animal welfare in their interviews with companies, that it's very well received. So I know that the industry cares and is very interested about animal welfare. So I think that our growth will be with our students then educating the industry as well.
Okay, something to add, Prafula, about education?
No, I think we got it covered.
Okay, perfect. We have 10, 15 more minutes. And the last subject that I want to cover is something that you we should mention, Leonie, is I know, guys, that you are in academics and you are teaching right now, but not, let's say, the big percentage of students after they finish their education, they have the opportunity to stay as professors. They need to go to the commercial industry. They need to go outside and start, let's say, going into the it's completely another world. Uh, Going out from college, academic research, and the life of being a student, and then going to the commercial side. What do you think about that? Is like a bird or being in the womb of a mom and then wow, going to another world. That's my perception. I'm right or wrong? Do you think that easy for the student going to the commercial companies that maybe one day they are doing research and maybe in the next year they are measured if they hit the sales of a division of a product. They need their value is not a measure if of their, let's say, knowledge, but if they hit a commercial sale. And this is the reality sometimes for some students. They're very excited to go out, they're hired by a company, but then the commercial, they having meetings and having another dynamics in the industry is shocking. I don't know, maybe it's my perception, that's why I want to hear you. What are you hearing from your students that they are out there?
Well, I have personal experience with that. I worked
Okay,
in
go
the
ahead.
swine industry for 2 years in between master's and PhD, and it was a shock, but it's different. And I think that we tailor, the experience that students have with us. We provide opportunities to network with industry quite a
Mm-hmm.
bit. But yeah, day to day, there are a lot of differences between academia and industry, but I think all four of us really strive to tailor our research program and extension program to anything that's applicable to any size, of
Mm-hmm.
industry. And managing people is always going to be the hardest part of the job, no matter what you're doing. So
Mm-hmm.
that's definitely different. And yeah, managing budgets and looking at markets. We do a little bit of that here, but I definitely think that um we do prepare students for the industry.
Okay, Leonie, what do you think?
Yeah, to add on to that, I think Shauna made some good points. I cannot speak from personal experience, so I might be wrong, but we do, at least as the supervisor or the professor, we do try, and as she said, try to make those connections and interactions happen during their education. So engaging students with going to conferences that are industry centered, engaging students with communicating to industry. So for instance, our Poultry Press articles, we often engage students with writing those, engaging them with extension events in person or online. So we do try to connect at least so that there's network building and they get some experience with just people that do already work there. And besides that, well, obviously we try to provide a knowledge base in animal science, poultry science, but then especially poultry welfare, right? That's what we're here for today. And then hope to instill some type of adaptability. So you cannot teach them everything, but we try to teach them how to adapt to these changes, and hopefully that'll translate into them adjusting from a school setting to an industry setting and having them adapt to what that means in terms of your day to day.
Yeah, very nice. Rafula, what are your thoughts about this?
Similar, and then so I'm lucky enough to be in a department which is specifically geared towards poultry. So in Georgia, there are plenty of industry, like poultry industry around that students have been able to get summer internship. And then we have had interactions with the representatives from the companies as well. And now they're also gearing their internship program towards where the students get to see each side of management. So not just being at the farm, but also look at day-to-day business side of the industry. So I think every time you interact with somebody in the industry, the biggest thing is there is a high demand for workforce, but they also want workforce to be involved in their management, not just in managing the birds, but move high up in the
Management, yeah.
company. And so yeah, so some of the students are also realizing that, and they take courses on economics or marketing on the side, in addition to being a major in poultry science or animal science. So I think like IPP, we've seen a lot of companies that do a spot interview for internship for students. Even from universities where there is not a specific poultry program, students often come there to get the internship sorted out. So I think it's working to a great degree, but there is always room for improvement or expansion.
And maybe just to
Okay.
add on to that, this could be a good opportunity to say if there is industry stakeholders in the room listening, feel free to reach out to any of us because students are interested in those real life industry experiences. So if there are opportunities for internships or like a small research project over the summer or over a winter break, students are interested, and especially well, at least the students that I interact with, like animal behavior, animal welfare, associated topics, they're very much interested in seeing how that works in practice. So just to put that out there.
Perfect. Any other thoughts, Marisa, from your side about this topic?
Yeah, I will say there's so many opportunities with poultry right now. And Prafula and Shauna have the privilege, and even Leonie, of having a poultry science department, but we don't. And so we have a lot of students here at Purdue who, for them, poultry is maybe not the first thing they think about. And so one of the challenges for us is just getting the information out that there are opportunities, and there are so many. And in my experience, industry people are very, very excited to meet with and connect with students. So I think that's one of the things, is just getting the word out to students about the opportunities. But for students, that can also be a challenge. So I think getting back to your point originally about, when they get out of university, they're kind of faced with this reality. I think for some of them, maybe we need to do a better job of coaching them to start thinking in terms of careers earlier on. And, if they cannot go to vet school, which a lot of them want to do, what other opportunities are there? I know different universities have people. We have a really good staff at Purdue that really tries to do that. But I think just bringing those opportunities more upfront, top of mind for students, and then helping them work on those soft skills. How do you work in a team? To get back to what Shauna said, right? Managing
Exactly.
people. Prafula also talked about management opportunities with these companies. So trying to illustrate to students, the stuff you learn, we can teach you the content, but you do also need to learn how to work with people, how to connect with people, how to communicate.
Exactly.
All of these different things is what industry people, I think, I don't want to speak for them, but we've heard that those are things that are important that, we need to try to focus more on at the university level as well, so that when students are graduating, they're not faced with this, oh, what now reality when they get into the position that they are successful at getting.
Yeah, I personally myself, I love this conversation, by the way, about soft skills that we call soft skills. I should, here in my notes, I should put, for example, adapt, adjust, communicate, relationships, managing people. Rafula brought up the subject of marketing, management, and like you were saying, Marisa, is you have maybe the knowledge, the information, but how to behave. when to send an email, when to do a phone call, how to dress to go to a meeting, when to talk, when not to talk. So there, and how to behave in certain, have that perception, how to behave in different environments. You can do some things in this, but you cannot do that. So who teaches that? Besides all the unique knowledge, scientific knowledge that you create and you experience, but the thing is how to get the message to go through. And that's another soft skills that you were saying, Leonie, that maybe we need to think about to maybe increase a little bit more in your environment. Hey guys, we're very nice to doing research, technology, scientific things, but these soft skills, you will need it also. If you don't focus in these skills, maybe your message will not be here or is not gonna pass by. So this is a very, very nice conversation. So guys, we hit the time. I'm very, very excited about the conversation. I think that was not expected, was more than I was expected. And I really want to thank you guys for being open. I want to your voice to be here, to anyone who will be watching this video. And like Leonie was saying, if somebody is hearing this, please be free to reach these guys. And they are in different universities, they are in different environments. And one of our main goals in Poultry School is creating connectivity, putting people together. Everybody has, like Shauna has saying, is a diversity of personalities. And when I say we're unique, and we have a unique value. And when we connect to another people is when we bring value to the not just to the industry, to the society. In the notes that I have here, you correct me, but you are gonna PEC is gonna having a symposium on technology on May 20. Can anyone can just share what is gonna what is this about?
Sure, Shauna and I are currently working on the final details,
Okay.
but we will have 3 experts talking about applying technology to assessing animal welfare or poultry welfare in practice. And it's free, it'll be on Zoom. And so we will have a registration link on our PEC website for that. And yeah, that will be May 20th from 9 a.m. Eastern time till noon. I don't know, Shauna, am I missing anything?
The title is Welfare by Design, Tech-Driven Advances in Poultry Care. So super excited about this one because the experts we're bringing in have tested out technologies for over a decade or developed them themselves. So we're looking at what does and doesn't work in terms of the current technologies for poultry management. So super excited about it.
Thank you. If somebody from the audience have any question, from the people that is live, obviously in the recording is not gonna be able. If anyone has any question, they can drop it in the chat box. There is below is a little box. If somebody has a question to any one of the panelists here, I don't see anyone, but I think that everything was well covered. And I think that we hit our main goal of this conversation. So guys, thank you very much. I wish you the best. You guys, the audience, you're gonna be seeing more collaboration with Poultry School and PEC. And let's keep pushing. And like in some part of the conversation we were saying, we need to spread the good news, guys. We need to get more together, having this conversation and spreading the good news what we're doing in the industry. So guys, thank you very much. Appreciate your time and see you soon in another collaboration that we're gonna be doing soon. Thank you to the audience, thank you to the people that was live, and thank you to all the people that will be hearing this in the recording that will be accessible in the next couple of weeks, okay? Thank you guys.
Thank you.
And I
Thank you.
really acknowledge and I'm really impressed what you are doing. Everybody in their own niche, in their own part, okay? Thank you guys.
Thank you, Rodolfo.
Sounds good.
This was great. Thanks
Thank
for having
you.
us.
Bye guys.
Bye.
Bye.